in line. And the calls to resign get louder, with New York's governor now the focus of a police investigation. What Governor Cuomo is saying about the newest claims against him.
WESH 2 News starts now with breaking news.
In connection with the Capitol riot.
A court hearing in the case ended just a short while ago. You're looking at video of attorney Ken Barlow leaving federal court in downtown Orlando. Barlow made no comment about his client, 40-year-old Kenneth Harrelson of Titusville. Harrelson was ordered today to remain locked up until a preliminary hearing Monday. Conspiracy, obstruction, and aiding and abetting.
And more $1 trillion stimulus plan a day early. It includes expanded child tax credits, unemployment benefits, funding for schools, and vaccination efforts. And of course, the $1,400 payment to many Americans, of which the first checks could hit bank accounts Saturday. Once-in-a-century crisis.
March 11th, 2020 was when the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a pandemic. In the past year, more than 118 million cases have been confirmed worldwide. 29 million have been reported here in the U.S. and almost 2 million cases in Florida. Now, almost double the number of people have been vaccinated against the virus in our state.
We subscribe to the idea that the best vaccine is the vaccine available to you. So when it becomes available to you, get your shot.
And starting next week, Florida is lowering the age requirement for vaccines from 65 to 60.
And today, Governor Ron DeSantis talked about when he may lift the age limit completely. WESH's Marlene Martinez tells us the details and how people are reacting.
With over half of Florida's seniors now vaccinated, Governor Ron DeSantis says he's ready to lower the age limit.
Monday, we're going to moving the age down to 60.
Florida's age requirement for vaccines at all locations, including pharmacies, drops to 60 on Monday. The governor says he's lowering the age limit in 5-year increments.
So every time you go down 5 years, you're adding between 1.5 to 1.9 million. And I think that that's just something that we want to be mindful for.
The governor says people 55 and up will be able to get in line sometime this month.
I think that's great. That's great, because I have friends that would like to get it and they aren't old enough.
So when will the governor lift the age restriction entirely?
Then if the supply floodgates really open, we could be in a position sometime in April where it's just available and people can get it.
Music to Carrie Berlin's ears.
I think that's great. The quicker it can drop for everybody and we're all vaccinated, the better for everybody, right?
Carrie is 48 and is happy to wait her turn behind seniors. But as a dog walker and pet sitter, she's had to take extra.
Where I go, gloves when I go in homes. So I'll be vaccinated as soon as I can.
Julie Clifton is a senior who got her vaccine last month. She thinks the governor should have lowered the age limit already, but she says better sooner than later.
The sooner we get rid of this, the better for our country, the better for our health. And I think we're not going to get rid of this scourge until everybody who needs it and wants it can have it.
In Orlando, Marlene Martinez, WESH 2 News.
The governor did not set an exact date for when vaccines will be available to people 55. He also did not specify when he will be lifting the age limit entirely. And a new vaccination site for eligible adults in Orange County opened this morning in Orlando. The site is located at Barnett Park, which previously served as a coronavirus testing site for residents. It is a female run-up site or walk-up site, so no appointments are necessary. The site will be open tomorrow and Saturday from 9 to 5 or until the supply, which is 500 Pfizer shots, lasts.
Governor DeSantis is also telling Orange County and other local governments they cannot collect fines for COVID safety violations. WESH 2's Greg Fox breaks down the executive order and gives us the governor's reasoning for it.
Strike teams have been going into businesses responding to complaints since Orange County's mayor signed an order in December threatening fines of up to $15,000. So far, 28 business owners have been fined $300 each for not following and enforcing in their businesses the county's mandatory mask ordinance and social distancing. 156 others have gotten warnings. Now, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis has signed an executive order that includes a suspension of COVID-19 related individual fines and penalties. That means Orange County no longer has the authority to collect the fines.
Most of those restrictions have not been effective. That's just the reality. The evidence is in on that, and so we want to really go forward fresh, and we want people to make decisions, but we don't want it under the heavy hand of government.
The governor's executive order is a reprieve for businesses like Country House Restaurant and Winter Garden. The owner was fined in December after several warnings and several complaints from customers about employees not wearing masks.
I just didn't feel it was right, so we were going to fight it.
Owner Heather Wooding says her workers were following the rules when she was fined and was planning to fight it in court. But since then, she requires no one to wear masks as she defies the county order and supports the governor's new order eliminating fines.
We have people coming here because we don't wear masks. They want to be normal, and they're happy to come to a place that doesn't wear masks.
You have a face mask on, right?
Eddie Sanchez owns In-N-Out Barbershop in Apopka and was planning on fighting his fine. He's glad he won't have to now, but it's unclear if business owners that already paid fines will get their money back. In Orange County, Greg Fox, WESH 2 News.
1 year into the pandemic crisis, the U.S. is still trying to rebound financially. The Labor Department today said 1.2 million people applied for first-time benefits last week. That is down 42,000 from the previous week. Last week, Florida had just over 16,000 first-time jobless claims, which was down from 19,000 the week before. Ahead of 4:30, we are getting the facts on Florida's vaccine options as more age groups become eligible for the shots, and we expect to hear from Orange County leaders about the governor's new executive order on COVID-related fines. That's all ahead in our next half hour.
Breaking news, an off-duty Daytona Beach police officer has been arrested in a stabbing last night. New Smyrna Beach police say 50-year-old Shane Jackson got into a fight with someone outside of the Flagler Tavern on Flagler Avenue. During the confrontation, officers say that Jackson stabbed the other person in the stomach. Jackson faces charges for attempted murder. The other person is at Halifax Hospital in critical condition. A Maitland attorney faces a murder charge after a homicide at a Sheridan last November. Documents show 42-year-old Regan Younger was arrested Wednesday on charges of first-degree murder and drug charges. An arrest affidavit given to WESH 2 is for the drug charges, but says she was identified as a suspect in a deadly drug-related shooting on November 3rd. Deputies allegedly went to arrest Younger at her law office Wednesday and found her moving bags of drugs into her car. She appeared before a judge this morning.
A capias was issued for your arrest for first-degree murder and possession of methamphetamine. There is no bond authorized on that. And again, you don't want me to...
Now, we will go more in depth with this case ahead on WESH 2 News at 5. Deputies say that a local man has been arrested in a fire that killed 2 of his relatives. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says Brian Pacheco was arrested in Puerto Rico. They say they believe that he started the fire that killed his grandmother and uncle. This was back on February 19th along Pompey Road. Now, when he returns to Central Florida, he faces first-degree felony murder and arson charges.
Melbourne police say a man took a baby into a public restroom and then injected himself with heroin to the point of hopelessness. Police say that they found 34-year-old Paul Rogers here slumped over in a bathroom stall at the Melbourne Public Library. They were called there because the baby he had with him was screaming. A police report says an officer found heroin and a syringe with Rogers. He's now been charged with child neglect. When a former Minneapolis police officer goes on trial for the death of George Floyd, he will face a new charge. Today, a judge granted prosecutors' request to add a third-degree murder charge against Derek Chauvin. WESH's Jim Payne joins us now with how this could change the case. Jim?
The Minnesota judge added the charge after Derek Chauvin failed to get appeals courts to block it. Chauvin already faced second-degree murder and manslaughter charges in George Floyd's death. Back in May of 2020, video showed Chauvin pressing his knee against Floyd's neck for nearly 9 minutes while Floyd was handcuffed, pleading he could not breathe. His death sparked nationwide protests over police brutality and race. Now, here's why the new charge plays such a large role in this trial. Second and third degree murder mean different things. Second degree murder can be intentional or unintentional. This charge requires the prosecutors prove Chauvin caused Floyd's death while committing or trying to commit a felony. Third-degree murder requires a lower standard of proof than second-degree. Prosecutors would only have to show that Floyd's death was caused by an act that was obviously dangerous, but not necessarily a felony. Reinstating third-degree murder could increase the prosecution's odds of getting a conviction in what will be one of the highest-profile police trials in the U.S. The trial will come down to two key questions. First, did Chauvin's actions cause Floyd's death? And second, were his actions reasonable? Jury selection is underway now. Back to you, Mayor.
Jim, thank you. New today, the House has passed a bill that would expand background checks on gun sales and also transfers. Background checks are not required for gun sales and transfers by unlicensed and private sellers. 8 Republicans, including 2 Florida congressmen, supported this bill. It was also co-sponsored by Orlando Representative Val Demings. A bill moving through state legislative committees could be the end of the drop boxes for vote by mail ballots. The drop boxes were enormously popular during the last election cycle. In Seminole County, more than 54,000 vote by mail ballots were hand delivered in drop boxes, and that was about half of all vote by mail ballots.
So Seminole County voters are very, very used to using and having that convenience. So it's definitely going to be a challenge here for us in Seminole County.
Now, while the county supervisor of elections says it will be a challenge if the drop boxes go away, he says they will do all that he can to make sure that everyone has access to voting.
Britney Spears' father is defending his role as her conservator of her finances as Republican lawmakers call for a hearing to look into it. Florida Representative Matt Gaetz and Ohio Rep. Jim Jordan are requesting a hearing from the House Judiciary Committee. They argue Jamie Spears' motives for being her conservator are questionable. A lawyer for Mr. Spears says his daughter is welcome to file a petition to terminate the agreement if that's what she wants. Britney Spears' next court date is March 17th.
Many of us love a good online sale, but what about an online sales tax? The controversial proposal being talked about for our state.
School board saga. Seminole County superintendent search has been called into question. How one high-ranking board member is now responding.
And after a cool morning, this afternoon's high temperatures have jumped up to near 80. We'll let you know if the cool overnights and the warm afternoons will continue. You're watching WESH 2 News at 4.
Saturday at 9.
Money is tight for everyone, but we just found new deals to put more cash in your pocket. Plus, the latest vaccine scam targeting your bank account and new tax rules that actually benefit you.
Saturday at 9 on WESH 2. Take on the day with First Alert Weather and Traffic.
I'll help you plan ahead and be prepared. I'll keep you informed to keep you on time.
On the highway or on the horizon, First Alert Weather and Traffic. Take on the day with WESH 2 News Sunrise.
I was crashed into by a careless driver. Who's gonna pay for this?
The insurance company should have to pay, but they often won't give up that money without a fight. I'll fight to make them pay.
Dan was great. He made the insurance company $1,000.
Our law firm has a winning record helping car accident victims. So if you've been involved in a car accident, call me now, 407-888-8000.
Dan, muchas gracias for winning my case.
There are endless ways to see the world. But when it comes to actually getting there and experiencing every soul-changing corner of it, there's only one. The Jeep Cherokee.
During the Jeep Celebration event, get 0% financing for 84 months or $5,250 total cash allowance on select 2021 Jeep Cherokee models.
I went food shopping at the supermarket. It had rained a lot. As I'm stepping into the place, I just slipped and went flying. I found out that I had a broken kneecap. Morgan & Morgan didn't accept the offer from the insurance company because it was not what I deserved. And I asked my attorney, I said, why would they even offer me that? And he said, because people take it. He says, we're not taking it. And we went to trial, and the jury ruled in my favor. I would highly recommend them 100 times over.
Hey there, homeowners. Experiencing the frustrations of pipe leaks or pinhole leaks? Have old polybutylene pipes that need replacement? Time to replace those old brittle pipes with brand new PEX or copper pipes. Repipe Specialists will repipe your home in just 1 to 2 days at half the cost of a plumber. Plus, we offer a lifetime guarantee. Call Repipe Specialists today for your free in-home estimate tailored for your home. No more leaks and great water pressure.
It's instant cash savings during Lifestyle of Orlando's Cash In Sale. Save $50, $100, or $200 on in-store purchases. Cash in now at Lifestyle of Orlando.
A new apology out in the saga involving the Seminole County School Board. This time it's from the board's vice chair.
She is addressing the board's actions in selecting a new superintendent hours after the first man selected said that he's officially out. WESH's Dave McDaniel has the new details.
That candidates, I think we need to start over, start from scratch.
A local woman is suing the school board of Seminole County, claiming that when it rescinded its earlier vote to select Chad Farnsworth as school superintendent, then later selecting current school board attorney Sarita Beeman, it violated its own procedures.
The vote to rescind Chad Farnsworth as superintendent is actually something that they can't do according to Robert's rules.
Her lawsuit asked contract talks begin again with Farnsworth. But in a letter late Wednesday, he said he's no longer interested in the job, saying his qualifications were misrepresented, and he felt the public perceived the board's actions corrupt, unethical, and potentially unlawful. Hours later, this open letter posted on social media by the school board's vice chair, Amy Pennock, writing, "We have failed my kids, we have failed your kids," and that comments made since the decision flip-flop might question the legitimacy of the entire process.
I was very encouraged by it because I think it takes a really courageous person to step out and speak up against an entire board, especially a board that they sit on.
Pennock, who did not respond to messages, also wrote she failed you by allowing the verbal attacks against qualified candidates, and that with humility, that I ask your forgiveness and support as I try to fix the mess my board created. Now, out live now in that letter, Pennock also suggests that maybe an attorney general review might be in order here, and that even though the board has voted to negotiate a contract with Sarita Beeman, maybe it was time in the superintendent search to start completely over with a third party actually vetting qualified candidates. Now, the other board members either declined to comment or didn't respond to our request. As far as the district, it says school board members speak for themselves. Reporting live in Seminole County, Dave McDaniel, WESH 2 News.
A local veteran received an incredible honor. He is being recognized for a lifetime of service.
How many aircraft did you fly? You've been flying since
1937.
Since I got promoted.
Wow. Captain Robbie Roberts there is 106 years old. He is the oldest living naval helicopter pilot, and he turns 107 in April. Today, he was given a Lifetime Achievement Award on behalf of the Central Florida Navy League. 2 Navy helicopter crews from Mayport flew in to present him that award. The special event was held at the Orlando Executive Airport.
Time now to talk a little weather out there. Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi joining us now. Tony, another great day outside for folks, and especially any spring breakers that might be heading our way. And I know it's going to be warming up too, right?
It is slowly too, not all of a sudden cranking up the heat. So this is nice slow warming trend here, just the way we like it. Coastal communities today running in the mid 70s, and then back through the interior, only 180-degree reading. That was over towards Winter Haven. Live look in now over towards Daytona Beach. We have cooled back to about 74. Wind now out of the east at about 8 miles an hour. There's that big dome of high pressure. Rip current concerns again with us today. We have a rip current advisory through 7 o'clock once we get past the tide cycle there, and then we'll do it all over again tomorrow with that big sprawling high. A couple of clouds down to the south, but overall pretty benign weather pattern here until you look at the radar. And then when you get to the radar, you see a few of these areas. Some smoke with a couple of controlled burns going on right now. Waresdale, just north of the Villages, Bellevue, likely smelling just a little bit of smoke, but a bigger plume here set up earlier. It was stretching from Brevard County back towards Longwood. Now the main plume is between Titusville and just south of Scottsmore, so a good deal of smoke there over I-95. And then on top of that, as you can see, pretty much like a broken record, we've had these rip current concerns all week long, and that will continue through Friday. Again, winds right now running east at about 10 to 15. little bit lower there, a little bit lighter, I should say, as you work farther away from those Atlantic waters. Coastal temperatures now 70 to 75. You work your way back towards Interstate 75, right around the 80-degree mark. Futurecast showing just a few clouds from time to time. Overall, though, nice, quiet, comfortable, and cozy Thursday evening. Temperatures will fall back into the lower 60s by the 11 o'clock hour, at least in the metro areas. A little bit cooler north and west. The outdoor temperatures for your tomorrow morning: 53 Ocala, up towards Palm Coast, 54 Daytona Beach at the airport. A little bit warmer right there on the water. Orlando itself, 56, and again, back towards Bicklow, coming in at about 56 degrees. Let's take a look now at Futurecast here for your TGI Friday. Few clouds wafting in off the Atlantic waters by the time we get through the course of the afternoon there. But really, other than that, a great way to end the work week with some even warmer temperatures. And Friday golf, who's in? I'm in. Warming up 66 at 9. Afternoon round coming in at about 81 at 3 o'clock. Don't forget the sunblock. All right, back to a few 12-hour forecasts here. Let's hit Brevard County this half hour. 76 by the time we get to 3 o'clock in Titusville, and then gradually cooling back down into the lower 60s by late evening. Now, on into Melbourne, middle 70s here again tomorrow, 76, maybe 77, and then falling back into the mid 60s by the 9 o'clock hour. Temps now, Orange County, low 80s, Astor 80, back towards the coast. We'll be running 75 to about 77 in coastal Volusia County, 81 Ocala, 82 Denellen. We head south now towards the Four Corners area, low 80s here, and then into Brevard County, middle and the upper 70s. For the Boat Beach forecast tomorrow, east winds 5 to 15. Seas running 4 to 5 feet. Just watch the rip currents. Water temperature still on the cool side. The UV index, though, is going to be quite high, so make sure you got the proper sunblock there. Otherwise, you are going to get a burn. All right, bike week for your TGI Friday. Middle 70s for an afternoon high. We'll take a look at the weekend setup for bikers coming up in the next half hour. 82, 83, up to 85 on Monday. We pushed those rain chances back to Wednesday and Thursday, another day. I'll explain why when I see you at 4:48.
All right, Tony. 6 women have now come forward with allegations against New York's governor. Now his office is taking some of those claims directly to local police. How the governor is responding to the situation. Then breaking his silence, Prince William shares his thoughts on his brother's and sister-in-law's stunning interview. But who is he defending?
Before the crosswalk and allow the pedestrian to cross safely. Alert today, alive tomorrow.
Are you and Stabler good partners?
We've worked together a long time. I can anticipate what he's thinking, what he's going to do. Yeah, we have a great rapport.
Elliot put his papers in. There was nothing I could do.
Liv! SVU Organized Crime crossover event, April 1st on NBC.
Honda has certified pre-owned vehicles with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and 24/7 roadside assistance. Save now with low 0.99% financing. Search your local Honda dealer today.
At Badcock Home Furniture and More, we believe when something feels just right, it feels like it was meant to be, or maybe meant just for you. So find the mattress of your dreams at our Mattresses and More sale. Plus, get a free TV or adjustable base with select mattress purchases. Our wide selection of brand name mattresses provides both comfort and durability. Shop pieces for every room, all with no credit refused. Find it at Badcock. Just right.
The Flat Spin 360. Often imagined, rarely attempted. Accomplished. Just this once. Right now, get 0% APR on the 2021 K5 or lease an LXS for $169 a month.
More style, more selection. That's Bears Furniture. Shop today for discounts up to $1,000 or more. The more you buy, the more you save. Shop safely in-store today. Only at Bears Furniture. Live beautifully.
Here's something the insurance companies don't want you to know. When you hire a personal injury lawyer, on average, you'll get 3 times more money than those who don't. Now you know. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. For the people, HondaSuperFly.com.
Here's today's live view from the sugary white sand of Clearwater Beach. Just now. Your trip at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Honda has 0.99% financing on Honda certified pre-owned vehicles that look like new and drive like new for a fraction of the new car price. Every Honda CPO vehicle is under 5 years old and has less than 80,000 miles on it. Search your local Honda dealer today.
The New York governor's office has reported a groping allegation against Governor Andrew Cuomo to police by his own lawyer. The assault allegedly took place at the governor's mansion and involved a female aide. Albany police say the woman has refused to press charges. Cuomo said that he never touched anyone in a against the Democratic governor, who has refused to resign. Ghislaine Maxwell's family has created a Twitter account dedicated to sharing facts about underage victims of Jeffrey Epstein. The family's first tweet said, "We know Ghislaine better than anyone. We are her family. It is our mission to shine light on the real Ghislaine, not the figure of fiction caricatured by the media." Maxwell is requesting a third for Brooklyn jail to home confinement. Her trial is set to begin in July.
Mississippi now has a law banning transgender athletes from competing on girls' or women's sports teams, and it is now the first state this year to enact such a ban. More than 20 other states, including Florida, are considering similar bills. In a tweet prior to signing the bill, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves said it would protect girls from being forced to compete with biological males. He also said it's a push for kids to adopt transgenderism, and he called it wrong. The Human Rights Campaign calls the law an effort to limit and erase trans existence across the country. Britain's Prince William has become the first member of the royal family to speak publicly about accusations made by his brother and sister-in-law recently. William told reporters today that the monarchy is not racist. Meghan and Prince Harry told Oprah during a recent interview that a family member raised concerns about how dark their son's skin might be. A friend of Harry's recently spoke out about the interview, saying he believes the issue is not with the royal family itself.
I don't think there's a problem in the royal family. I think there's a problem within the institution. I've been very fortunate to rub shoulders with members of the royal family at numerous events, and they're very, very friendly, very down-to-earth and grounded.
Buckingham Palace issued a statement earlier this week from the Queen, where she said the couple's concerns would be addressed privately within the family.
Vaccine appointments can be tough to get.
Imagine finally scoring yours, but not actually getting the shot. What some patients at one vaccine site were given instead of their shot.
And charting a path forward, how our president intends to help the nation recover, starting on this one-year mark of the pandemic.
At Toyota of Orlando and Toyota of Claremont, it's the Ready, Set, Go sales event. Let us help you get out of your old car loan or lease and lower your monthly payment. Through this Sunday, you can buy this 2020 Camry LE for only $15,988. And now you can reduce your time spent at the dealership by 95% using our online shopping tools. You can customize your deal and quickly get our price and payment options. We'll even deliver the vehicle to you. You've got the green lights of savings at Toyota of Orlando, I-4 across from Millennium Mall, and Toyota of Claremont Highway 50 west of the Turnpike.
Come on out to Fun Spot America's huge Mardi Gras celebration. Enjoy some food, festivities, and music from now until April 11th in Orlando and Kissimmee. It's gonna be huge!
I was crashed into by a reckless driver, and attorney Dan Newland got me a huge settlement, $875,000. Thank you, Dan.
Involved in a car accident? Call me at 407-888-8000.
Dan, thank you for winning my case.
You're invited to the Rooms to Go 30th anniversary sale going on now. So get ready to save big with 66-month interest-free financing and low monthly payments on incredible styles store-wide starting at $5.99. Amazing pieces, beautiful rooms, great sale prices, and low interest-free monthly payments for 66 months starting at $9. Come on, the Rooms to Go anniversary sale is going on now.
Why am I so calm right now? Because this isn't a spy thriller. This is a Nissan sales event ad. Right on cue. This Rogue has more standard safety technologies than that RAV4. It's almost too easy.
Hurry in and save up to $72.62 on select models.
Tick-tock, time's running out.
Upgrade your home fast and save. Free installation from 50 Floor on all carpet, hardwood, vinyl, and laminate. Offer ends at the end of the month, so call now. Plus, save an extra $100 with promo code MAKEOVER.
Call it.